is Thursday, April 23rd. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Virtual Math. Back in the man cave. Today we went Chris Bryant, Cubs, Rookie of the Year, MVP, World Series champion, whatever, no big deal. Today you will have your fourth chance to go over your Fantastic Five. Hopefully the past 3 days have been really good. Hopefully you've seen that score increase, or if you've been getting a 5, hopefully you've seen that thing maintain. But you got a couple more chances to try to get up there if you have not gotten there yet. So we're going to pull it up. We're going to get going here. All right, let's see. Let's kick this cat out. And we're good. Here we go. All right, number 1. That's not the right one, but that is. All right, it says Quentin has a blanket that is 22 feet long and 5 feet wide. He's going to sew a jewel for every square foot. If jewels come in packs of 8, how many packs will he need to buy? So, with this question, it is similar to yesterday's, but there is an extra step that we've tossed in there similar to Monday's Fantastic Five. So when I pull up the whiteboard, again, first thing I'm looking for here is for you to draw a picture, which we can do there. And we can go ahead and list the dimensions of 22 and 5. And when you saw those words square feet, you should have instantly known you've got to find your area. So length times width. Now, the only thing different here is I wouldn't expect you to know 22 times 5 off the top of your head. But it's not very difficult for you to stack them up. Do a little bit of work here. 5 times 2 in the ones place would give you 10. 0 stays, 1 goes. And then 5 times 2 once again gives you 10, plus 1 more gives you 11. So that gives you a total of 110 square feet. And we want to put a joule for every square foot. So that means I need 110 joules. The only thing different now is that those joules come in packs of 8. So look, it wouldn't make sense for you to buy 110 packs of those because then you would have over 1,000 joules when you only need 110. So what you got to realize is when it says packs of 8 equal groups of 8, you're not multiplying here, you're dividing. So logically, it just wouldn't make sense for you to do multiplication here. And when you look at your answer choices, that would make sense too because they're all getting smaller. So I would take that 110, divide it into groups of 8 to see how many we would need. So dangerous monkey swipe bananas as always. 8 can't go into 1, but it can go into 11 one time. Because 8 times 1 gets me to 8. And with a little bit of regrouping here, I could do 11 minus 8, and I would get 3. And then I'd bring down my 0, start all over again. All right, 8 can go into 30. It doesn't go in evenly, but I got to get as close as I can. And 8 times 3 is going to get me as close as I can. Goes in 3 times because 8 times 3 is 24. And I would subtract 30 minus 24, and again, with a little bit of regrouping, that would give me 6. Nothing to bring down, that means I'm finished. So that leaves me with an answer of 13 remainder 6, and that word logic is really important again because logically, you're not going to go to a store and buy 13 remainder 6 packs of anything. So you have to interpret that remainder. You got to decide what you're going to do with it. There's only 3 possible answer choices. So you could ignore that remainder and buy 13 packs. You could use that remainder and get 6 packs, or you could use that remainder to push up and buy 14 packs. The one thing that's consistent is you know that each of those are going to have 8 joules inside. And to figure out which one you need to buy or how many you need to buy, you just got to do a little bit of math. You know you got to get 110 joules. Now, one of these you should be able to do. Boom, in your brain, 8 times 6, that gives you 48. So if you're buying 6 packs of those joules, it's not going to be enough. You're not even close to the 110. So you don't have to waste time with that one. So I'm either buying 13 or 14 packs. All right. So if I did 13 times 8, starting in the ones place, 8 times 3 is 24. 4 stays, 2 goes. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. So if you bought 13 packs of Joules, you would be able to have 104. When you really need 110, 13 packs isn't going to be enough. That's why you'd have to push up, buy the extra pack, and even though that would give you 112, which is more than you need, you'd rather have some left over than not have enough. So that answer there would have been 14. And by looking at the answer choices, really, you wouldn't have even had to do the math with 6 because it wasn't one of our possibilities. And if you're not comfortable doing it that way at all, if you did 22 times 5 and you got your 110, you could have then just used the answer choices and multiplied those times 8 to see which one would have given you the answer. So again, as always, you got options. I would prefer to do it the way I showed you, even though it does, require a little bit of work. It's good practice because you're going to see questions like that at the end of the year and next year too. All right, moving on to number 2. This question's actually been pretty good. I'm happy with the way that this one's been going. It says the distance around perimeter, the walking path is 158 yards. The path is 66 feet long. How wide is it? And I guess I really shouldn't be surprised that this one's been as good as it has because, really it's one of those questions where if you see it once, you kind of have an idea of how to do this question going forward. All right, so here is my walking path. Perimeter was 158 and it's 66 feet long. Like I told you the past couple of days, a couple of different ways you can do it. What I would do is I would list the opposite side. I would go ahead and add up what I already have, take it away from my total to see what's left. So I would go 66 plus 66, length plus length. 6 plus 6 is 12. 2 stays, 1 goes. 6 plus 6 again is 12, plus 1 more is 13. All right, I know my total is 158, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of what I already have. That way I can see what we got left. 158 minus 132. No regrouping necessary here. 8 minus 2 is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. Again, right here, the difference between getting this question right and getting it wrong is whether or not you took the chance or took the time to double check your work. If you chose 26, you just didn't. Flat out, you didn't check your work. Because 66 plus 66 plus 26 plus 26 is not going to give you 158. Guys, you got to take that 26, you got to split it between these two sides. I'm taking 26 and I'm dividing it by 2, long division, and that would have given me 13. Again, you can avoid all of that really if you wanted to and just plug in your answer choices. But I'm telling you, if you know to do it this way, it's going to take so much less time than just plugging it in. Because if you're plugging in A, B, C, none of them are right, and then you got to go to D and do the last one, it can be time consuming. So if you know the problem solving process of this one, it could save you a lot of time. It could go a lot quicker. But that one would have been B, 13 feet. And again, you see 26 feet as an answer choice there. Hopefully that's not one that we are choosing. I guess if you're going to miss it, it's okay to choose that one because at least you're on the right track. But at this point in the week, 3 chances to do it. Hopefully we're moving towards getting that whole class, getting that question right. All right. Number 3. So 3 and 4 are where I spend the least time because, again, it's just got to be right here. It says I have 4 equal sides. I am a parallelogram, and I am not a square. What am I? All right, so I would start with the first part. I have 4 equal sides. A rectangle does not have 4 equal sides. A rhombus does have 4 equal sides. A trapezoid does not have 4 equal sides. A kite does not have 4 equal sides. So guys, the parallelogram part and the not being a square part didn't even matter. I could have just focused on the 4 equal sides and gotten the answer of a rhombus. Now I can still make sure is a rhombus a parallelogram? Yes, and we know it's not a square. So even though it's got all that information in the question, you really could have only focused on one part and you would have known that a rhombus there is your answer. And I keep answering these questions in the previous videos. Like I told you in yesterday's video, a rhombus was a parallelogram, a trapezoid wasn't. So, I mean, go back and watch those videos. I'm giving you answers. This is kind of like cheating. All right. Number 4 says, how many ribbons are longer than 5 3/4 inches? This does not include 5 3/4 inches. It doesn't say 5 3/4 or longer. It says longer. So 5 3/4 is not longer than that. That means I would start over at 6, go over to all the way over to the 7, and maybe the same answer as yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, this answer is 18, which is B, and it's the exact same data that we counted as yesterday, except yesterday's was worded differently. So that's a good example. So yesterday I think was 6 inches or longer. This says longer than 5 3/4. Two completely different questions, same exact data. So read that one carefully, but that one would have been 18 for the line plot. And look, I know I flew through 3 and 4, but that's just, there's not much more I can say for those. Number 5, man, number 5. I've been getting some emails about number 5. Mr. Huber, I don't get it. Guys, you got to read. And every time I go through it, before I can even finish, they go, yo, you got to read. It might help you to read it twice. It says there's 155 kids in the gym. They break into equal groups of 5, division. They decided to play a dodgeball tournament. If 12 of the teams get eliminated, how many players are left? So let's get 155 kids into equal groups of 5. Boom. Dangerous monkey swipe bananas. All right. 5 cannot go into 1. It can go into 15, and it goes in 3 times perfectly, because 5 times 3 gives me 15. 15 minus 15 would leave me with 0. And I'd bring down the 5 and keep on going. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 times 1 gives me 5. 5 minus 5 gives me 0 with nothing to bring down. So that leaves me with 31. Again, you've got to know what that 31 represents. Is that 31 players or 31 teams? In this case, that is 31 teams. And if you keep reading, it says 12 of those teams get eliminated. They're gone. So got to do some regrouping here. But in the ones place, I can do 11 minus 2 and get 9. And then in the tens place, I can do 2 minus 1, and that leaves me with 1. Again, that 19 represents teams, not players. If I wanted to know how many players were left, I got to take those 19 teams that have 5 people in each team and multiply. So I start in the ones place. 9 times 5 is 45. 5 stays, 4 goes. Going across now, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 would give me 9. And if I look at my answer choices, that would give me an answer of C. So as you have looked at those questions, make sure that you are reading them carefully. I think the most important thing, the work's obviously important, but the most important thing is that you are reading these carefully. So make sure you crush it today. This is your 4th chance. Hopefully we're getting at least a 4 today. If you have questions, ask them. If you need to watch this video again before you start, do it. Fast forward, do whatever you've got to do to make sure that you guys are being successful on today's Fantastic 5. All right, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.